Good morning. Welcome to the Fitchburg Housing Authority meeting on March 27th, 2025. And I call this meeting to order. It is now 8:34 a.m. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that if anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting, please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none at this time, I ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Doug, for inviting us here this morning. As you just heard, I'm the assistant administrator at MART, and I'm fortunate to work with some talented people that help our communities with ride services. And, we, as you probably all know, we work with 25 towns and cities in north central Massachusetts. And we thought this was an opportunity, to really get better assistance to the housing authorities, because we have a bunch of services that I think many people don't even know about. And we want to do a better job partnering with the housing communities, because, obviously, there's a need for transportation. That's the key to, social determinants of health and getting people where they need to go to lead their lives. And, that's essentially our mission statement at MART. And so, we were talking with Doug the other day about some things like where we can possibly put some new bus shelters, where we can do some things for bus stops. We are currently right now in process of redesigning our routes in Fitchburg and Leominster. So by probably this summer, we'll announce new routes. And so this is a good time to talk about if we're going to move some things or go to some different places. Our goal is to speed stuff up, because, we have some routes that have been kind of in place for a long time. But they may take, for example, we have a Route 29 that goes to Leominster from our intermodal in Fitchburg. It probably takes an hour and 15 minutes to complete a loop around. It's heavily used, but it's something that there are some spots on there that have low ridership, and we're going to be shutting some things off, and then we're adding some new places to where we've been told by communities to go to because there's new developments or new opportunities to provide rides. So we kind of wanted today to have a discussion, any thoughts that anybody here may have about what we can possibly do, and then we could entertain that and review if that makes sense. I know we have been investigating just in the last few days, putting a shelter, as you heard from Doug, at Green Acres on that Normandy Water Street location. And so we went there, was it yesterday or day before? And looked at some site spots potentially to do that. And, any cooperation we could get with the city, for an easement or whatever to get that done, that would be appreciated. But that's an example of how we might be able to help, or looking at where we can possibly shift some routes. But we also have a bunch of services that I know many people, I'm sure, don't even know about, that are in addition to our fixed bus routes. And one thing, our fixed bus routes are, until at least the next fiscal year, are fare free. So, this is obviously the cheapest way, if you can go for free, to get anywhere in our communities. So that is something that we're hoping the state legislature will continue to extend that, because it really helped ridership. We went up 35% in people using our buses, and in part because we did some better marketing, but also the fact that was a big part of why people started using it a lot more, because a lot of the tough economic conditions that have been going on in the last few years, and that is something we've been doing. So we have, for example, a subscription service that is a monthly ride service that's not free, but people use that to go to work. So they pay a fee each month, and then they get to go pretty much anywhere from in Leominster to Fitchburg or up to Gardner. And that is something that's heavily used by our communities. We have an evening ride service that takes you from where you can get picked up at between 7 and midnight again, in those same communities, like Leominster, Fitchburg, Gardner, and parts of Lunenburg and Westminster. But that only costs $2. So, that is another, you have to pay for that, but, where else are you going to get a ride? You can use it for any purpose. You want to go out to dinner, you want to go out to the movies, you want to go to work, it's really, it picks you up where you live. So it's not like a fixed bus that, you got to, same thing with that other that monthly ride service I mentioned. That's another thing that picks you up curb to curb and takes you where you want to go for work. So, those are some things that we have. I don't know if any of you folks want to share any thoughts about some things that we do here at MART.
Yeah, I mean, you covered everything really well. I would just also add that as the outreach coordinator and travel trainer, I've actually been here before. I worked with Brianna Boulay, who I think is in here right now, but she assisted me with doing presentations at 3 of the housing authority places in Fitchburg to tell them about those services. And I think having more of a routine of getting into these places, getting to talk to the residents about those services, especially as they change and update, would be really great and let them know about it. And then also it gives us a chance to get that feedback as it's happening about where the routes are, if there's enough, if they're, coming frequently enough or close enough to where they want to go, that sort of thing. So it gives us that interaction with the people that are using our rides.
Yeah, and I would say too, like, we have a lot of things that go places that connect to our services. Like our fixed bus routes, you can use to get to certain locations, but then, for example, if you use this to go to our ITC, we have a Worcester shuttle. So that runs really all day, and multiple loops going down there. So that's another fare-free thing. So if you want to take a bus to go to our intermodal in downtown, Fitchburg, you can use that now to go to Worcester. We have a Boston shuttle. So, there's some things that, a lot of people, wow, I don't even know, about these things. And that is something I think if people understood the extent of our services, there's a lot of things that can really help people. We do the councils on aging here in Fitchburg, for example. And that is something, again, fare free, but the people in the senior housing could use that to go to all these other things I just mentioned to connect. So a lot of people they think, oh, we have a van that can pick people up and take you around Fitchburg. But no, but now you can get to Worcester or something, or Gardner, or places that are farther away if you just understand how our system connects to everything. So I think that's something I think we on our end, in cooperation with you good folks, if we did a better job like explaining, our total services across our communities, that would be a real good thing to partner and do more. And also looking at how we can do a better job in our service. Like we mentioned, some of the things like maybe you want us to go somewhere we don't go. Maybe we want a bus shelter so people don't have to stand in the rain to get on a bus. So all those things are part of the type of stuff we need to have do a better job. And we don't expect people to always have to come to us for stuff. We need to do a better job of communicating. So anything else, you guys want to share?
Yeah, so we've had a reconnaissance survey of the sites at Greenacres, and we've looked at it. And here down the streets, we have Inspire, which soon it will be about 30 minutes loop between here and the ITC. And between ITC and Monument Square, Leominster, it takes you 20 minutes loop. So you're trying to speed things up and trying to connect all the cities and where people can go and have interactions. We did a study and residents have expressed the need to go to certain places. So we are trying our best possible to come up with routes and services to make everybody have access to work, shopping, and other short trip needs and other things. So that's what we are still working on. So when we are able to communicate this and you advertise with other residents, then we can also increase our ridership and make this community better. And, if transport is available within a space, it makes communities grow faster. People, they wouldn't spend so much time in waiting for buses. They wouldn't spend extra resources on owning a vehicle. They can actually go everywhere for free within their space. So that's how we are trying to move forward.
Okay. And Michael provided us the dimensions of the bus that would come to Daniel Heights. We're going to provide that to the architect. as they design. So obviously not a big bus, but one that can loop around here. So we provide that to our architect for this project, we do the sidewalks and the pavement and the parking. And also, the new Green Acres building is going to have a drop off for kids and for the public. Once we get further along in our schematics on that, we'll provide that data to you to make sure that a bus can get up to our new admin community building, which is behind Lake Tate Road. And accessible from Canton Street or Valley Street, Canton Street. We also talked internally about having some kind of a page on our website for transportation connected to your services. So
Oh, that would be great.
I really want to thank Brianna Boulay, our Director of Resident Services. She's not here now, but she really helps coordinate all this. You've been working with her.
Great, yeah.
I was gonna ask that question, in terms of our resident services coordinator. Is there any way you guys have a monthly newsletter or something that our residents could get and with these services, kind of like a reminder, a monthly reminder, like these services are, you know what I mean? Something to that effect.
You want to answer that, Yancy, because you were thinking about doing this.
Yes, we do have one in the making.
Okay.
We should be able to release that probably in the summertime. But in the meantime, we do have marketing materials, our contact information. We can give you actual like pamphlets. We do have individual bus schedules we can provide. And then we also have a child can that can come out and speak to them on additional information on services.
Yeah, in our travel training, we'll actually go, like if somebody doesn't understand how to use our services, they would actually come and go with them if they want to, like take them, hey, I'm going to show you how to do everything. So I mean, we're going to how do you go to find information and read maps, how to do things, and get out. You can go on they'll even go on the bus with you and take you. Okay, now we're going to show you how you can do like stop the bus, and pull the cord down to get off the bus. And so it's like a complete thing. So, because it's intimidating if you've never used public transportation before. So like, okay, well, it's really not once you do it, but we're getting started. So there's things like that, or like if somebody's like someone who may be disabled and they want to use ADA services. Okay, well, how do you sign up? What do you do, to get that approved? You have to contact your doctor or get, that sort of thing. Well, they'll help walk you through step by step. So you really can be confident when you go to try to do things on your own. Yeah.
Actually, this is very timely because in less than 30 days, we have to submit a funding grant to the state for Green Acres. And we want to include a bus shelter. And so I'll be reaching out to you about that, but including that in, with even a semi-firm commitment from MART, could very well help us receive a couple of $1 million to renovate Green Acres. So I'll be reaching out to your office.
I mean, that's a perfect example of like if we partner together, we can accomplish so much more. Right. When 2 and 2 isn't plus 2 isn't 4, it might be 10 by working together.
So one other question I had: is there any way going forward, as you work with Brianna, could we maybe do an electronic survey if we get out to the residents? You know what I mean? Something they can, stay on the phone or computer, or any kind of way they can access to be able to say, we go hit this area more frequently than this area, and something like that. That would be things can be more targeted.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Get more targeted services.
And I believe that's how I first met Scott about a year ago. We did a survey, Brianna, for the an aging grant.
Correct. And we were at the other facility that you have. Canton Valley. And there we participated in the survey and gave some things, for feedback. And who's the person that started that left Fitchburg?
It was Marcy.
Marcy, yeah. And she asked me because I have a degree in gerontology to participate in the survey to get that done. And so that was something that was helpful. And we saw all the feedback and, obviously, the thing about transportation, people don't really oftentimes think about that, it's the most important thing. You look at social determinants of health, always like nutrition or something or medical care or whatever. Yeah. But if you don't have transportation, you can't get anything else. Right. And you're isolated and lonely in your community. And without that, it's like nothing else matters, and so much of what we can do is to help people get into all these community services if we just work together to get the message out and what we can do. I think that could be a huge win for all of us, in terms of what we're trying to do.
I guess one of the other reasons why I was asking for the survey in terms of more targeted locations, you could eliminate 15 other stops. If we're going in this general area, say if we're going out, Leominster on Cinema Boulevard or whatever, it's good. The bus is going to go directly there. There's 4 or 5 doctor's offices out there, as opposed to, because sometimes I'm thinking of an elderly person who get confused. I'm supposed to be going here while we stopping 10 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So that's why I'm just.
Yeah, like we're doing something similar to that. We just got a grant that we got approved for Emerson Hospital. Now, I mean, that's a little bit farther for right here, but the communities that are now going to be able to go there, like Air, Shirley, and Harvard, they're using that to go in a loop, and then it goes to the hospital, then it goes to some of the outpatient facilities, and then it goes back to where they get picked up in those towns. So, that is, but there's very similar things that we can work on. Where would people need to go for medical care in this area, or something else? And there might be something that the residents tell us, like, well, we didn't even think about. That is an important thing.
Right.
And that could be included and really help get our services better used and more people into that process. We also have, I didn't mention this, we have grants that go 20 miles into and out of certain cities, towns rather, like in that eastern part of MART. And those are in communities like Littleton, Stowe, Lunenburg, Sterling, Bolton, and so on. And it's, we got a new one that just got approved by the state that goes to here, Shirley, and Lancaster. That's going to start in about a month. So for you, it's a bit mileage based, and this is a cost item. But you can go, like, let's say you want to go shopping at Walmart in Lunenburg. Okay, well, you pay from here, it's $3 because it's mileage based. If you go up to 10 miles, it's 3. If you go over, that's 4. And then it's 7 if you go like 20 miles. But they can use that. And it's, again, the cheapest. It goes curb to curb. So it picks you up where you live, and it's done by taxi services. So that is something to go to those 8 communities that we have. You can go from right here to any of them, and you might want to go to the point in Stowe or something and go shopping at the big mall they have there. Okay, you can do that with that. So again, our services kind of get into many, many things people don't even know about. So,
and even here, I realized the Route 5 goes here almost every hour, but we are trying to make it shorter than an hour to, let's say, 30 minutes. But we realize we don't have a stop sign here, so such notices, and if we improve the sidewalk in case it becomes rough over the years, then we can better have access to this point, and people walk down the street, join the Route 5 ITC to go everywhere, Boston, Worcester. That's where we are trying to move forward from.
Thank you.
Any other questions or? Well, we really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedule to stop by this.
Look forward to being better service.
Thank you.